Welcome to Amud Yom Shir. We are following the Dirsha cycle, Shabbos, Daf Tzadi Beis Amud Beis, Shir the Nishma Sov Moiri, Menachem Akiva, Latzolas, the whole of Klal Yisrael, the Tono Abonon. So the topic is Shnam Shosu. Yeah, many times we hear the term, the musag, Shnam Shosu Pturin. Yeah, if two people, let's say, turn on the light together on Shabbos, this is definitely also, but it is potu. It's not also Medoraisa. The question is why. We're not going back to the Mishnah, just to the Braisa. The Braisa will show us three opinions regarding Shnam Shosu. Yeah, from the most lenient to the most machmir. So let's just explore the topic. The Tonu Rabbanon, 4 lines from bottom of the page in Tzadi Beis Omud Beis. Ba'asoiso, ba'asoiso. It says in the Torah, the posuk. It says in the Torah, and this posuk, by the way, is not only about Shabbos. This posuk is at the end of Parshas Vayikra. V'im nefesh achas techto b'shgogo me'am ha'aretz ba'asoiso achas mimitzvos Hashem esholot osenu v'Hashem. Pasuk talks about chatos. As we all know, Shabbos is one of the many things you have to bring chatos for. And the pasuk repeatedly talks about achas, right? Achas means one, yeah? One meaning like one person. Yeah, so let's see. Ha'oise es kula v'lo oise es mikzoso. Ba'asoiso, only if you did the entire melacha on your own, you're chayiv. But if you did half the melacha, you're not chayiv. That's what the drosha is. Ketzad. How does that come about? How does that come to practice? Shnaim, shoyu oichzin ba malgez veloikzin. Two people were holding the fork, right? And they were picking something with the fork. Bakarkar veshoivtin. Two people were holding the karkar, which is what's a karkar? If you remember from Daf Einei Amud Beis, karkar shoivtin. Shoivtin is when you prepare the shti. The shti is it's called the warp, the basis of the fabric. When you prepare fabric, there's a basis, the thing that stands is called shti, and the erev is what runs around. The shevet is when you take like a stick and you make sure that each string of the shti the basis of the fabric is in place. Yeah, you separate it. So two people took the karkar is a small thing. It's a thing with a hook at the end. You basically take the hook and you arrange the threads. You can do it on your own. And two people basically they take a fork together. Of course, one person can do this on his own, and two people doing this together. Karkar v'shoivtin, yeah, they take the karkar and shoivtin. For example, what's the isur b'malgez? Rashi says it's the isur of what you call it? It's the issue of me'amer. You take and you go to the haystack, yeah, with a big fork, the pitchfork, and you pile it together. You can do it in one person too. And two people are doing a job that can be done by one person. That's a common denominator to all these. Bekulmus, bekoisvin, they both take the pen and they write together. You take a pen, a quill, and you write together. Bekone ve'otzir l'rshus harabim. They take a small reed and they take it together to rshus harabim. Can you imagine? Look, I have a small piece of plastic, and two of us take this together to rshus harabim. Looks funny. Yochel yuchayovin, would you be chayev for that? The two people? Talmud lo imar ba'asoi so. Or he says, so case number one is, I'm saying all the time on purpose, this is something crazy. There's a reason for it. When it's abnormally done by two people, it's something can easily be done by a person to take the stick out to Rosh Hashanah or to write with a pen, and two people do it together, or turning on the light together, the light switch, two people doing it together. That's like kind of not normal. And on that, everyone agrees, not everyone, almost everyone agrees. When it says ba'asoi so, you do it. If I'm only partner in the crime of doing a melacha that could have been done without me, yeah, each and every one of us, we could have done it on our own. You and I turn on the light together, we could have done it alone. You potu. We're both potu, according to this opinion. Okay? Case number two. The eagle shell devela. Eagle shell devela is sometimes, not always, big and heavy. Eagle shell devela, no, you all taught your children, Eagle shell devela is the fig pie, it's called in English. Yeah, it's like a big kind of, a lot of figs that are stuck together to one big wheel, and they eat it from it. Eagle shell devela v'tzilo shusarabim. The eagle shell devela pan de igos. It's called pan de igos. V'tzilo shusarabim. They took it to shusarabim. Bekoiro v'tzilo shusarabim. A beam, some beams are heavy, So if you took a koir, the two of you, and you took it out to Rosh Hashanah, now comes the machloikis. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Im lo yochol echad laotzioi v'otziu shnayim chayovin. If none of us can take the big beam till Shus Harabim, none of us is a bodybuilder, and we're taking something really heavy till Shus Harabim, and none of us could have done it on our own, so each one is instrumental in the melacha, and it's normal to do it that way. You have a very heavy piece of furniture to take out. You ask your neighbor, do you mind helping me? I can't do it on our own. Neither can he do it on his own, right? Then it's called a normal melacha, and you chayv, and both of them are chayv when it's together. Each one is chayv korban chatos or chorus. V'imlav pturin. If this is something light that both of them could have done it alone, each one could have done it alone. It's a small koiro, a small piece of fig pie. Yeah, then enechinami potu, as we said before. That is who, that's Rabbi Yehuda. And that's halacha, by the way. I'm killing it already. Rabbi Yehuda is with Pascal halacha. The Mishnah, if you saw the Mishnah on Shabbos, the Mishnah is like Rabbi Yehuda. Shnaim shasu pturin, the famous line, the famous rule. So says the Rambam, Perek Aleph, the first Perek around the halacha of Chestes. He says if two people, each one can do it alone, and they do it together, which is shinui. Crazy. It's not exactly melacha shinu. It's a cousin of shinu. There's a lot of yeah. It's similar to melacha mishuna, right? Two people turn on the light together. You're nuts. That's called shinu. That the Torah allows. Midoraisa, it's allowed, and Chachamim forbade it. It's also D'Rabbanan. There's nafkamina in the amount of half sakana. Let's say, yeah, say Yoledes in a state where she's not mamish at birth, but she's the beginning of the birth pangs. For Ashkenazim, you're allowed to do malachas b'shinui. So it's better if the husband and wife, or husband and the nurse, they do something together. I'm not a posek, but I know that's done. So, but if it's something that neither of you can have done it on your own, you both carry the big beam, and that's a normal way to do it. On that, the Torah didn't speak, and that you are chayiv for, okay? Even though it's two people together. I gave you the svara. The Gemara will give us the psukim, but the svara is written in Rashi, and we'll see it later on. That's Rabbi Yehuda. Ad kan Rabbi Yehuda. Reb Shimon Omer. Reb Shimon is the other opinion, and he says, even though none of them could have taken it on their own, this is a big mahogany table. I'm a koilel guy, I'm not a bodybuilder. And what? None of them could have taken. I take my other friend, the koilel guy, and what do? We take the table together, but none of us could have done it alone. Rabbi Shimon is more mekel. He says, Shnam shasu pturim always applies. Even when it's normal and it's heavy job that cannot be done alone, there's still potu, and he learns that from the pasuk. Even though it's more normal to be done like that, it's normal way, it's still potu because of the psukim, not the psukim, the part of the pasuk that we'll mention. Lekach ne'emar, that's why it says in the Torah, says Rabbi Shimon, Shnayim shasu pturin, excuse me, Vasoiso, Yochid shaso chayev, Vasoiso, he did it. Only Reuven did the whole thing alone. Okay. By the way, there's a third opinion which we saw before and we'll see later. Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir is the other extreme. Rabbi Meir is koifer in the whole concept of Shnayim Shos. Rabbi Meir says no. You always chayiv Shnayim Shos. Always chayiv. Both when it's turning the light switch, taking the heavy mahogany table. You always chayiv Shnayim. According to Rabbi Meir, he's not mentioned here right now in the Brisa, but we saw him. We will see him. What? So I said kanka, which you mentioned before, is like it's a small kli with a hook at the end, and when you set the shti, you set the. It doesn't matter what it's made out of. I think it's made out of wood actually, and you arrange the threads of the fabric before you start weaving it. That's kanka. Okay. Now, b'maika miflagi, what is the machlokas between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon? Rabbi Meir right now is dormant in the corner. But Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon, what do they argue about? They argue about how to break down, how to analyze the same pasuk that we keep talking about all the time. By the way, guys, when was the last time we saw this pasuk? In Daf Gimel, 90 dapim ago. Look, it's been a long way, long time, yeah, long way together. In Daf Gimel Amud Aleph, a little bit of this was mentioned. Ve'im nefesh achas techto b'shgogo. You remember now, right? Me'am ha'aretz ba'asoiso. Yeah. So now, Rabbi Shimon Sovar. We're going to break it down very nicely. Don't worry. There are three miutim. The Torah has like three words here, each one coming to be memait, to exclude and basically allow another item that's to do with shnaim she'osu. One, nefesh techto, achas techto, basoiso techto. All these psukim, all these words, the word techta doesn't appear all the time. Because the word techta is singular, Not techteu. Many times the Torah speaks in plural, right? Kisavoyu eloretz, lo, right? Lo tignoivu, it says, right? The Torah is being dafka very, like, pointing at you and only you, as opposed to two people. And the words nefesh, achas, techto, ba'asoiso, it's as if every time, again and again, we're coming to exclude the plural, both in nefesh, achas and ba'asoiso. All of them are dafka singular. Each one is coming to exclude another form of shnaim she'osu. Number one, lemiuti ze oiker v'ze meniach. Now that everyone agrees to. What's the oiker v'ze meniach? Meaning, remember the first sugya. If I take something out of reshus ha-yochid, right? Look, I'm taking my phone, forget about the fact it's muktzah, that's besides the point. Yeah, I'm taking it out of my house, and there's an oni outside, and he places it in Rishus Harabim, first Mishnah. So we are patur. Now, this is clearly, according to everyone, even Rabbi Meir, that's obviously not chayev. Why? Because that's the easiest case to exclude. Because it's not like we both did the whole thing. It's not like we wrote a whole letter, but we both held the pen. Yeah, each one did half the job, chronologically speaking. I got from point A to point B, and the other guy got from B to C. It's like a relay. Been to camp ever in your life for sports? A relay, yeah. Therefore, it makes much more sense to pater because neither him nor I, nobody did the entire job. So then that's clearly the easiest target to exclude from chiyuv. It's also, but it's patur. It's also,
But
yeah.
it's different because here we're talking about two people doing it at the same
Pa, pa,
time.
pa, 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 pa. We'll get there. 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 Right. You're right. We're now reading the pasuk, not only our sugya. The pasuk, first of all, excludes the most obvious half, boom, half. True. Now's your turn. V'chad lemiuti ze yochol v'ze yochol. Oh, when both guys do the entire thing together and each one can do it on his own, can I hold the pen and write two letters? Baruch Hashem, you have to thank Hashem for that. If a guy comes and does it with me, he can also do it on his own. That's a crazy stuff. So then clearly, that's Mishuna to write together, right? LMI, that again is a relatively easier target to exclude. So if both people do something in which kind of both are redundant, yeah, then we say they're exempt. Oh, here comes a bigger chidush, because according to Rabbi Shimon, there are three spaces to fill. There's now a third mute from the pasuk. V'chad the mute is the eino yochel, v'zeino yochel, which is the bigger chidush. When both you and I take a big table, you see, from my house from Lachish, I take a big table to the street. Let's say the area allows me, yeah, to get rid of a big sofa. I'm asking for your help, Akiva, right? So none of us can do it on our own, right? And we both schlep it together. Then mitzad belabatish svora, maybe we're chayiv. It's normal. Thank you, says Rabbi Shimon. The Torah has a third exclusion to exclude even that. Even in such a case, which is normal melacha, normal, but the Torah decided that even that is called shnam shas in your potter. You see how gradually he builds it up. So according to Rabbi Shimon, we always exclude all sorts of shnam shas. And by the way, this is to my little knowledge of Shabbos. It's the only place Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon argue, and Rabbi Shimon is not La'alacha, only Rabbi Yehuda. Hey, Rabbi Yehuda, it's Rabbi Yehuda's moment. Melacha sh'tzicha l'gufa, according to most poskim, Rabbi Shimon is right. Davar Shem Iskaven, Rabbi Shimon is right. Muktzah, Rabbi Shimon is right. Here's Rabbi Yehuda's big moment. Yeah, Rabbi Yehuda.
So the breaker falls down on Shabbos and two people, the guy goes with his wife to push it back up together. That's not.
Chas v'shalom. Chalila. It's also tachlisa iser. It's also midrabanan. Only in Shas have sakana, or there are cases we allow it, or b'di'evid, or b'di'evid you're not chayiv chatas. You're not to be done l'chatchila. That's not a halacha shir. You're not supposed to do it. Ask Karov before you do it. The Rabbi Yehuda. Now, how does Rabbi Yehuda learn the pasuk? According to Rabbi Yehuda, hey, there are three spaces to fill. How does he fill them? That's clear, right? If each one did half a job chronologically from A to B, I did Akira from the Yochid, left it by you, and you took it and placed it on the floor in Rishus Harabim. None of us did the whole thing, as he very nicely said. True. Then we are potter, like we said before. The other exclusion is when we both can do it separately, each one, to turn on the light switch. I can turn a light switch on my own, yeah, even my 3 years old grandchildren can do it, yeah. So if two people did it together, of course they're potter. What about the third one? Hey. Here, Rabbi Yehuda, when two people cannot do it each one, he says, Archive. According to Yehuda, if I take a big table I can't do it on my own. Neither can you. And we take you to the street on Shabbos, Yochit Rabbi, we're chayiv. So what does he do with the third exclusion? How does he fill the third space in the pasuk? Completely different world. V'chad l'miuti yochid sha'aso b'ros beis din. This is not Chinese, my favorite. This is very easy. This pasuk, as I told, I warned you, this pasuk is not only about Shabbos. This pasuk is about the general concept of chatas, which means yochid sha'aso b'ros beis din is as follows. There's an entire masechta, short and I don't know, sweet, sweetly challenging, very challenging Masechta. Don't try to learn it because it's very small. It's small, but yeah. In Hebrew, they say, Kama katan, kacha satan. If you got me, you got me? Ah, good. So then, the Bekitzer, Holios is about the mistake of Beis Din. Beis Din makes a mistake. So then, Beis Din makes a mistake. Beis Din have to, and people follow their wrong Hoira. The great Beis Din, they made a mistake technically. They thought that chaylev that was brought, new chaylev was brought from China. They thought it's kosher. They gave it shtempel b'datz. They said it's okay to eat, and people ate it based on you're laughing. These things do happen, by the way. I'm sorry to tell you, unfortunately. So the Beis Din have to bring a korban. Okay. What about if I made my own mistake? Stam, nothing to do with Beis Din. Of course, I have to bring my korban if I ate chaylev by mistake. Here's a very interesting combination. At the very beginning, the first, I think, Omud Beis, if I'm not mistaken, of Horius. What about if Beis Din, yeah, gave Hoiro, and only one person followed them, not everybody else? Everyone else was maybe suspicious or whatever. One guy said, well, Beis Din allows the chaylev. I'm going to eat the chaylev. I don't think it's chaylev. And nobody else did. So we judge it as his own avera, or maybe he's potter because Beis Din told him to. So now so now says Rabbi Yehuda, Lechad miut yochid shaso b'ros Beis Din, which means you know why it says one person only has to bring chatas? To tell you if I'm acting on my own, I decided by my own mistake that this is kosher mehadrin and it's real chaylev. I have to bring chatas. But if I'm basing my knowledge on Beis Din, I'm onus. The big Beis Din told me, the great Beis Din Shah, they told me it's okay. What do you want from my life? I'm honest and I don't have to bring a korban. And that's what we exclude. Nothing to do with Shabbos. Yeah, it could do something with Shabbos. Let's say they told you to do something on Shabbos, lav dafka. I told you, the pasuk is a general pasuk. Rab Shimon, according to Rab Shimon, where would he know that from? Rab Shimon has all three checkers, all filled. So how does he know Yochid Shasa? Guess what? He argues, Yochid Shasa b'ros Beis Din chayav. Look in the Horus, you'll see. Rab Shimon holds that if you follow the law of Beis Din, and most people didn't, only you have to bring a korban. So the pasuk is not excluding you. The pasuk then, according to Rab Shimon, is free to exclude the three items from Shabbos to do with Shnan Sha'osu. One, half, Akira and Anocha. The second one is both of them did it and each one could do it on his own, a small item. And the third one, even if both did it and they cannot do it on their own, always poto. That's Rab Shimon. Right? And Rabbi Yehuda, middle of the road. Rabbi Yehuda says, only if they can do it together, each one, then they're poto. The Rabbi Meir, I told you, Rabbi Meir is complete koifer, almost, in the whole concept. We are Akiva Yakar. Sadi Gimel Amud Aleph, we are in the Be'emtza, lo Be'emtza, Ktsat Ma'al Emtza Amud. The line starts with the word Yochid. The Rabbi Meir, what does Rabbi Meir say? Miksiv nefesh techta, achas techta, ba'asois techta. Rabbi Meir says these are not miutim. It's just a normal way of the pasuk to write. In other words, trei miut iksivi. According to Rabbi Meir, the fact that it says nefesh achas techto, there are no three miutim, because the words nefesh achas, yeah, is really the normal way to do it. It says nefesh achas urchei dekro liishtoi hachis, says Rashi. To write one nefesh is normal. The Torah doesn't want to write just nefesh. The word achas, according to him, is not redundant. So he only has two spaces to learn from, only two exclusions. Yeah, not three. There are only two places in the pasuk with a blinking light that tells you, I want to teach you something. What are they? Very good. The only two miutim. Chad lemiut is ze oiker v'ze meniach. Remember? Even Rabbi Meir believes that if one guy did the akira and the other guy did the hanocha, of course they're potur. As much as Rabbi Meir doesn't believe in Shnam Sha'osu, as he very nicely said, means when they both did the whole thing together, we both press the button. Today, that could be, yeah. You call it solo, and it's not too quick, not too rushed. So you call it together, you and your wife together, you press the buttons. Yeah. Says Rabbi Meir, no, you chayv chatas, chayv kores, says Rabbi Meir. Yes, according to Rabbi Meir, that's not the halacha, don't worry. That's Rabbi Meir doesn't believe in Shnam Sha'osu. If you do one guy did akira, What's it? And the other one did Anocha, that's not called Shnaim. Each one did only half of the whole picture, not the whole picture together with another guy. So that the Torah is Memait. V'chad lemiuti yochid shasobo was based in. The other place in the Pasuk has nothing to do with Shabbos. It's to do with what? If a person acted upon the Rov Beis Din, the Beis Din Agadol said that this kind of chelev is not chelev, it's kosher. He followed their instructions. Now he does not have to bring a korban. Basically, Rabbi Meir managed to get out of the two biggies, the two of us doing everything together with a small melacha of taking something light outside, or both of us taking the big heavy thing outside. In both cases, it's not excluded from the pasuk. The pasuk doesn't exclude it, which means you chayiv. Voila, here comes Rabbi Meir. So Meir and Shimon are two extremes. Let's summarize. Rabbeinu, sikum v'chazara. So now, according to, I'll listen to you, I promise you I'll listen to your question in a minute. Just let me summarize and I'll hear you. According to extremes, Rabbi Meir says, leave me alone, Shnam Shosu. I don't believe Shnam Shosu, no way, bam, 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 no way. Yeah, no Shnam Shosu. Come on. Rabbi Shimon says, always Shnam Shosu. You're always pot on Shnam Shosu. Yes. Whether it's something you could do together, something you couldn't do together, you always potu. Rabbi Yehuda says, I like the golden path. Says Rabbi Yehuda, what? I hold that. If two people do something together on Shabbos, that each one can do on his own, we both take a pencil and we write Shalom Kita Aleph. Yeah, I can do it on my own. You know, I did it when I was 6. Yeah, so you can do it together with your friend. Each one could do it on his own. According to Rabbi Yehuda, then you're potu, because that's crazy. The Torah is Memait dead. That's not normal way of doing melacha. So it makes sense that that's what the Torah is Memait. But Sheinken, when we, oh, my neighbor, you did it? Not you, your brother-in-law. Yeah, when I once had a heavy wheelchair to take, yeah, let's say it was on Shabbos and there's no Eruv. You take a wheelchair of someone on Shabbos and somebody helps you. I can do it on my own. You can do it on your own. And we do it together. If there's no Eruv and it's in Shabbos, according to Rabbi Yehuda, you chayev. Because that is the normal way of melacha and you're not potter. And v'zeh aloche. According to Rambam. זה הגיסך לא, אתה שלוחו של אדם כמותו. גם אתה, נכון, צדיק, נכון. I have a very chashuv neighbor here, Baruch Hashem. Okay, I just want to point out something. No, I'll point it out later. Rabbi Akiva, what do you want to say? You okay? Or you're...
Say if you two people are right on
Omar ma, ze yochel v'ze eno yochel. Divra hakol chayav. Here comes another case. Ze yochol v'ze eino yochol. Okay. Divra hakol chayav. One guy works out in the gym, chveisna sholosh pomim beyoim, an hour, like shachis mincha ma'ariv. Some people are like that. 3 hours in the gym every day. His neighbor, the only muscles he uses are the fingers and the computer, right? And hopefully to turn the pages of the Gemara. So one of them can take out the table, and the other one cannot do it on his own. However, the bodybuilder does get help, which is called mesayah, from the other one. Yeah, one guy could have done it on his own, but the fact that there's another guy helping him, right, does make it easier. Not possible, make it easier for him that another guy's helping him. That's a new case now. Okay, so now what do we say? Everyone agrees. Mazel tov, there's peace in the world. All Tanoim agree that he is chayev. Who's he exactly? Who is chayev? The big guy, the small guy, who is chayev? What do you mean? The one that can do it on his own is helped, but he could have done it on his own. Right? Sometimes it happens. I am asking one of my children, right, to take something heavy. I can't do it on my own, but when the child helps, it helps, makes it easier. So the one who's yachol, the one that can do it on his own, he is chayev, and the other one, the helper, is potur. You want to tell me that one that cannot do it on his own, the helper, the number 2, the second fiddle, my coverage is not doing anything. He's not doing anything significant. Why do you say he's not doing anything? Says Rav Nuna. The kamesaya b'adei, he's helping. What's mesaya? What's siua? Help, right? In Hebrew, I think so. The kamesaya b'adei is helping him. Maybe he should be chayev at least as well because he's helping. Yeah, or maybe both of them should be chayev, right? Like it's a help. Omale, here comes the big famous line. This is now a great moment. Mesaya en boi mamesh. Here comes the Gemara Mitanai Zach. Zok Mesen B'Mamish is very nice duke in Rashi. Look at Rashi Mesen B'Mamish. Rashi says, Mi she'eno ela Mesaya b'dova. It's a few lines above where we are. A person who's helping, meaning helping means not that he's a nice neighbor. Mesayah means that he cannot do it on his own, and let's Reuven and Shimon. Let's use names, classical names. Reuven can do it on his own, but he's using help. Shimon cannot begin to do it on his own, right? And Shimon is helping Reuven. Ein boy mamish v'loy choshiv midi is not choshiv at all. The Messiah is not considered anything, meaning v'lo miftar idach. Very nice duke in Rashi. Rashi says, why is Rashi midi? Anything. It's a twofold. Not only Shimon is not chayev, neither Reuven becomes potul. That's a word. That's a chiddush. Rashi's madgish an extra word, midi. I think so. That's my own idea. Maybe I'm wrong. I didn't see it anywhere. In other words, Rashi says, the big bodybuilder is helped by the computer programmer. The bodybuilder could have done it on his own. The other guy cannot do it on his own, so his presence is nothing. Why? Meaning he is not getting any punishment in the doraisa, and the bodybuilder is not becoming potter either. Because he could have done it on his own, and that's Messiah and B'mamish. That's Pshat or Messiah and B'mamish. Now, I just want to explain to you something which will really help us in the next part of the sugya. All of a sudden, now Rashi is going to talk to us in different terms. Basically, Messiah means what? The guy that is not necessary. It's helpful, but not necessary, right? And Messiah and B'mamish, let's revisit Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda, the star, the halacha. Rabbi Yehuda says, when two guys are taking a mahogany table, and they can do it on their own, they are chayev. They are not called Messiah. They're called it. They're instrumental. Without you, I could have done it. I couldn't do it on my own, but neither can you. And therefore they're not called Messiah. Therefore they're chayev. Each one, is instrumental here. Is not helping the other guy. Without me, you'd be gone, mister. Ever scared of the other guy is schlepping the bed behind you, the big bed, and if he is letting it go, then I'm gone and I'm crashing. That's not called Messiah, and therefore you're chayiv, both of you. Mashenkin, if you and I are taking together gingerly a basket to the street, you're feeling just cute and father and son or something. I don't need you to carry the basket. Therefore, neither you'd need me. That's where we're both mutual Messiah. Because none of us is instrumental. Of course, together we need it because otherwise we drop the basket. But if I can carry the basket on my own, the 5 grams basket, and you're helping me, that's only called help, meaning you are not necessary here. And that's called Messiah and B'mamish, and that's what that's how we define Rabbi Yehuda as pattering both of them. It's a new Hagdorah, which we'll see unfolding in Rashi. We're not contradicting anything we said. We're just giving it a different definition. Messiah means a guy who's not necessary here in the story. And therefore, and B'mamish, and therefore it's Poto on Shabbos. Now we're going to compare it, please. We're going to compare it to Tuma. Tuma v'Taira. Omar Rav Zvid Mishmei Rove. Says Rav Zvid on behalf of Rove, Af Anana Mitnina. We also learned the following. Before we continue, don't faint on the spot when we're saying again Tuma v'Tara. This is easier Tuma v'Tara. We all remember Mr. Zav, right? If a Zav sits on a bed, what happens if a Zav sits on a bed?
All the way down.
All the way down. It's Toma, very nice. If a Zav is, the halacha is that if the Zav is, puts most of his weight on it, then becomes Toma. Let's say Zav is a big guy, a healthy guy. You know, these people that need two seats in the airplane or 2 seats in shul. So 80% of his weight is in one chair and 20 on the other chair. The chair that carries his weight is the one that will be Toma, not the other one. Okay? He goes per roiv that gives him support. Also, beds we're going to see. So now let's see the following. We're going now to prove the point of Messiah and B'mamish from Tumantara of Zav onto Shabbos. Let's see. We also learned the following. If Zav is sitting on a bed, what do you say? The bed is Tomeh. Now, beds, last time I checked, not all beds, but many beds have 4 posts, 4 legs, let's call them, like in Hebrew, 4 legs of the bed. The arba taliyos tachas raglei hamita. Under each leg of the bed, the bed itself does make a difference. It's Tomeh anyways. Now we're looking more scientifically, which one of the 4 legs of the bed is carrying the weight of the Zav? Nafkamina, let's say there's something under each leg of the bed. Under each leg of the bed, you have a shmata. You have a talis. Doesn't mean chilul talis you daven with. You have a cloth. Yeah, to stop the rain or something, whatever that is, right? Now we have to analyze and see, which one of the four posts of the bed, of the four legs, is instrumental to hold the zav. Nafkamina, if what's underneath it, because you very nicely said, it goes 10 levels down, right? The nafkamina, is the shmata underneath tome or not? Well, tmeas, they're all tome. Why? All four are instrumental. They are similar to what? To the two people schlepping what? Big bed, the big table. In other words, if you have a bed with three legs, not good, not conducive for a good sleep at all, right? A bed can't be on three beds. It's going to fall. It's going to tilt. Because each and every one of the posts is instrumental and necessary equally, therefore they all become tome. They're anyhow tome, but they're all also metame, what's underneath them. Because this is similar to, they're not messiah. They're not messiah. They're instrumental. The Messiah means, I could have done without you. No, each post of the bed is, if there was a fifth one, then we could do without the fifth one. That's good enough kamina, right? But the four posts, without one of them, the bed would go completely right, topsy-turvy. And therefore, all of them are mitam and what's underneath. The Rabbi Shimon Metaher, very good. Now, beautiful. Sfasai Mishak. Why does Rabbi Shimon say that all of them are Metaher? Because what did Rabbi Shimon say about the two guys? What you guys to tell me, Nami, I'm talking too much. What would Rabbi Shimon say if on Shabbos I take a bed from my house to the street and I can't do it on my own, and my neighbor cannot do it on my own? What would Rabbi Shimon say? That we are Potu, because Rabbi Shimon views us as Messiah. Rabbi Shimon defines Messiah even when two people cannot do it each one on his own, but we're helping each other. He calls that Messiah. Therefore, in a bed also, he says, if it's not a one-man show, it's all Torah. Because all of them, I don't care, because Lamaisa, there is another post who's also holding the bed of the weight of the Zav. So he says, but we're not focusing on him right now. Now, what about an animal? Before we continue to the next weird case, everybody should know, as I told you many times, I looked high and low. Maybe there's a very awful case. Behemoths who are alive, or that are alive, are never mekabel tuma. Yes, take it from me. Maybe there's we sat in coil for half an hour trying to no. An alive animal never receives tuma. Take it from me, okay? So let's say Zav, he's a Zav, having some nice time. Let's ride on a horse. So he's riding on a horsey, and the horse has under him has four shmatas. Now the horse himself doesn't become tome, right? But what about the shmatas underneath? As we said, like Be'ev and Misame, the Zav Tuma goes down, down, down. Even if the first layer is not Tome, but the horse, last time I checked, has 4 feet, 4 hooves, 4 whatever you call them, There are 4 hooves underneath, right? And now let's say under each one there's a shmate. So each leg of the horse is now a shaila. Which leg is more instrumental here? Nafkamina, not for the horse, is never Tome. Nafkamina for the shmate underneath. So look at this. The Dalit Taliyos Tachas Ragla Behema, Tehoiros. The all tahor. Why? A horse can, if he really wants to, stand on 3 feet and pick up 1 foot, 1 hoof, 1 leg. You can pick up and stand very regally on 3. And since all 3 legs can tell if legs could talk, can tell the 4th one, we 3 can manage without you, 4th one. You're like the weak guy who's helping the bodybuilder. Every foot here is really a messiah for all other 3. And you're pattering all 4, and you say all 4 are tahor. V'amai, why is that? But still, the 4th leg does help, no? This horse is definitely more stable and more normal when he has 4 feet. Bam, bam, bam. Now he didn't, what? He manages to stand for a while on 3 and pick up 1, although the 4th leg and each one is looked as the 4th one, the 4th wheel. But we still are not mechayev. We say that they're all metame, they're all tohor, they all are instrumental, and yet they're all tohor, because ironically, each one here, whenever he picks up 1 leg, we all say, hey, all 3 legs could manage without you or you. And when he's walking, actually, he walks each time he picks up 1 leg, right? So be'etzem, because the horse 1 out of 3 legs is considered to be the weak guy who's schlepping the chair, the big table. There's a big table. Mr. Bodybuilder can do it on his own. He could use help from his neighbor computer programmer, right? So what do we say? Computer programmer, completely potter. Yes, we know that from the horse with the 4 legs, because each leg can be looked at as the one that if he picks up this leg, for a while, he could stand very nice and regal, make a horse show. They do that, yeah. And so since each one is considered to be only Messiah, potentially, Mimela, each one is not called with schlepping the Zav, yeah, none of them is instrumental enough. None of the legs is instrumental enough. Every leg in its turn, in its time, we can say, we don't need you here. You can pick it up. And therefore it's Messiah, and therefore Miksad Tuma, the Tuma doesn't go down. It's not called the support of the Zav. Wow. לא. זה כמו אחד יכול ואחד לא יכול, אבל עוזר לו. לא, סליחה. זה כמו השלושה, כל פעם לפי התור, השלושה הם כמו הבריין, הם כמו החתיכת הזה, כן? והרביעית היא כמו החלשלוש. אבל כל רגל היא כל פעם כמו החלשלוש. So it's all 4 kilo the weak guy. I think, מה? Yeah. That's Rabbi Yehuda. That's Rabbi Yehuda. Because each one is a Messiah. It's a nachon. It's halacha. You can also call it kilo. Each one is weak, and it's a light one. But yeah, but it's not. It's more similar to the case of a strong guy and a non-strong guy. 3 feet are the strong guy, and the 4th foot is the weak one that helps him. Oh, we have to go. What? We have to continue. Sorry, no questions now. Sorry. Says Rav Yehuda from the city of a very discreet place, I don't know, discreta. He's suggesting something else. I don't think it's good proof. Why? I would really tell you, Messiah yesh bo imamish. Messiah yesh bo mamish means what? Really, a Messiah, a person who's a helper, maybe yesh bo mamish. Unlike what we said. How will you explain the story of the horse? Which means sometimes the foot, yeah, he may completely pick it up and not help at all. When I schlep the table, the bodybuilder and the weaker guy, they are schlepping it together. By the horse, yeah, when he walks, he picks it up. He really picks it up, and there's always a foot that doesn't help. The kevan the zimlin okroho, the zimlin akroho. Sometimes one foot is being lifted, and sometimes the other one is lifted. By the way, it's not only when he's walking. Tosis actually says when he's standing. When a horse stands, it's true. By the way, I don't need my eskomo. Sometimes he picks up the foot and then he puts it down. That's the meaning of the horses. Yeah. So since sometimes he picks up this one, sometimes that one. If that's why, yeah, that's why. One second. I'm sorry, this is a technical issue with the computer. And therefore, let me just fill in what Rashi says. That's why there could be another reason why they're all Torah. Why? It's not because Messiah and B'mamish. It's because sometimes one leg is on the ground and the other one is picked up, and we don't always know which one is the one that picked up. I'm not sure technically what it means, but this is what it says. In other words, it's a shal of sofek. Because I'm mesupek, which leg is the stronger one and which one is the one that it picks up, I'm not sure, technically, halachically. Because of sofek, that's why I say that all 4 of them are tohar. In other words, it's not that I know in this lomdus, you created here 3 are the strong ones, and every 4 in its turn is a weak one. No, I say I have a strong one and a nothing one, less than Messiah. There's one that's standing and one who's smoking cigar in the corner, not doing anything. We don't know which one is. So misafek, we said that they're all tohar. Which foot exactly? What the Gemara is going to say now is going to disprove it. We don't have time. I'm sorry. The Gemara, we can be mashlim bit at home. The Gemara will disprove it from the next brisa. Maybe we'll continue tomorrow and says no. We'll see that the fact that if a zav is lying on 5 beds or 5 tables, yeah, and we don't know where was his main weight, where wasn't he was sleeping. We don't know. You know, people move when they sleep. We don't know which bed was the one that put most of his weight. Then all beds are tome, not tahor. Therefore, the reason is not because of sofek this or sofek that. The reason must be, like we said, not because of Messiah. We know how he's walking, how he's doing everything, the horse. We b'machshava, we look at 3 legs as the real deal, the main ones. The 4th one is Messiah, and guess what? Each foot can always be the Messiah. She'ein b'mamish, that's what's store. Okay, so you can continue tomorrow from wherever you want. Tomorrow you're taking the reins, excuse the pun. Continue from here, wherever you want to continue, from whichever point you feel comfortable. I'm not going to be here tomorrow. The Choshev Reb David. Oh, shit. What a beautiful Magichir. Shkoyach, thank you very much in advance. Thank you to people on Torah Anytime and on YouTube, whoever watches us. Shkoyach, Hatzlacha, Nevegutta, Tu B'Av.